I hope you like metal because this week is stacked. Welcome, metalheads. I'm the host of Heavy Metal Philosophy and writer for Metal Digest, John Barbas. Make sure you stick around to the end of the episode for this week's album art of the week. And before we break down this weekend's best new metal albums, there's a couple of big bands with some huge releases, so let's break those down and then we'll do the top 5. Y'all, Metalcore Legends, Atreyu have just dropped a new EP called The Moment You Find Your Flame. If you're an OG core kid, here we are. It doesn't get much better than this. And speaking of OGs, we got a new album from CYHRA called the Vertigo Trigger. If you love trad metal, this one's for you. I got this one early. My review is already published at Metal Digest. Links in the description for all my writings. I gave high praise to this one, and I don't normally like trad metal, but they've got this modern sort of take on the genre that I appreciated, and you will too. And lastly, before we jump into the top 5, the album that I've been looking forward to all week, the new Orbit culture called Descent. These guys might be the next big thing in thrashy metalcore, one of the best new and upcoming bands. I love this album. They just dropped an EP, it was either last year or the year before, and I was like, please, give me a full record. Here we are, the day has finally come. And now, let's do the top 5. Coming in at number 5, this is a great band name, y'all. Milking the Goat Machine. The name of the album is Nuove Plate. I am certain I mispronounced that. Text on the screen as always so you can see way I'm butchering this pronunciation. And as always, every band's Bandcamp links will be in the description so you can easily find these records. This is some grindy death metal from Germany. It's energetic, it's got these great bouncy riffs, and the vocalist reminds me a lot of Dez from Cold Chamber, which immediately made me want to listen to them on top of their cool band name. Check it out. Coming in at number 4, After Earth, with the rarity of Reason. And I love that album title, that speaks to me for sure. This is melodic death metal from Sweden. And this has got so many groovy riffs in it. A guitar nerd like me is going to be all over this one. It sounds like to me if Amon Amarth was playing a bunch of In Flames riffs, like a marriage between those two bands. I absolutely loved it. Check it out. Coming in at number 3, Ringworm, Seeing Through Fire. This is hardcore from Cleveland. I also got a sneak preview of this album, and once again, I absolutely loved it because it's got death metal riffs and thrash metal guitar solos, hardcore vocals, and it's a full beatdown from the beginning of the album to the end of the album. This is one of those albums that's going to make you want to run through a wall. Go get it. Coming in at number 2, the name of the band is The Circle. The name of the album is Of Awakening, and this is symphonic black metal from Germany. I am blown away by this record. It's epic. The symphony's not just a lot of symphonic black metal. It sort of takes over. It's the guitars are too much or the symphony's too much. This just provides the right amount of vibe to make it epic. It's super clean production, which is another compliment I don't often give to black metal. And speaking of compliments I don't often give to black metal, I love the vocals on this one too. It's not screechy at all, quite heavy. This is super interesting music for people that like composition. It's composed well and it's heavy. That's why it's number 2. But hey, before we do number 1, I just got a couple things I want to say to you. If you love metal the way that I love metal, then you're in the right place and you should join the Heavy Metal Philosophy community because that's all we do here. Every weekend, I break down my favorite new metal albums that get released, my favorite album art, And then every Tuesday, free on every platform, is the podcast where we talk about, you guessed it, metal. And if you like any of these bands that we've listed so far, please hit that like button because it helps spread the message. Now let's do number 1. Coming in at number 1, Horrendous with Ontological Mysterium. This is one of the weirdest death metal albums that you will hear this year. This counts as my weird one for the week, and it's number 1 because it's also super good. I had to ask these guys because as soon as I heard it, I thought, only weird people could make music like this. So I had to ask them, and I did. At the end of the episode, you'll see a link to my podcast where I interviewed the band Horrendous and asked them, hey, why are y'all weird? What does it take to make music like this? And they were super receptive to that and forthcoming and open and honest and just chill, cool dudes. So if you love metal, if you love weird death metal, you'll enjoy that podcast. But most importantly, listen to this album because it's, like I said, weird. Some people might call it progressive death metal. And then it's got trad metal guitar work all over the place, giving that epic bombast and power. But then some cool death metal riffs too, which you know I'm a sucker for. That's why it's number 1 this week. And we're not done because there's still album art to talk about. My favorite album art this week comes from Godthrone. The name of the album's Distortions. This is epic doom metal from England. But look at this art. This speaks to me. And you know why it speaks to me? Because that's me. That's basically me right there. If you see me out in public, I'm not this super excited guy all the time in public because most of the time I'm just like trying to get milk or whatever, not thinking about metal, which is my favorite thing, which is, it's easy for me to be enthusiastic about metal, not so much about going to the store and getting some milk. So that calm guy's face, that's my face most of the time if you see me out in public. In the back of my head, in my mind, the other face. That's me thinking about death metal. This art is awesome. I love the color scheme, I love the font, I love the music. This is the complete package. That's why it's this week's album art of the week. As I alluded to earlier, you can click right here and catch that podcast I did with Horrendous. The guys are quite insightful. You'll definitely enjoy it. But most importantly, read philosophy, listen to metal. I